Mr. Taylor, Roof's manifesto says that he got his inspiration from your website and links to articles about what is characterized as black crimes against white people. Roof wrote, quote, "There were pages upon pages of these brutal black on white murders. I was in disbelief. At this moment, I realized that something was very wrong." Roof's stepmother said he had been affected by internet evil. So doesn't your organization bear some responsibility for what Roof was thinking?
No, he did not get inspiration from the council's website. He got information. And the reason the information was so disturbing to him is because the facts, the reality of the overwhelmingly black on white nature of interracial crime is something that is almost never reported. It's in fact deliberately concealed.
But your website also says, quote, "Mixing races is rebelliousness against God." Do you really believe that?
Let's go back to the question of interracial crime, which is what influenced Mr. Roof. The fact is, of the 500,000 interracial crimes of violence committed in the United States every year, blacks commit about 85% of them against whites. Whites commit only about 15% of them against blacks. This is something you will never find in the mainstream media, despite the fact that it is fully justified. Hold on, it's fully justified.
You can break this down by economics, by socio-demographics. You can also say that it's mostly poor against mostly wealthy. It's not necessarily causational because of somebody's skin color. But again, I want to get to the thinking of this group and the website. The COFCC website has compared the late pop star Michael Jackson to an ape and has referred to black people as a retrograde species of humanity. Why shouldn't somebody who's going to your website and believes this stuff, why shouldn't we be able to predict that they might cause violence against African Americans?
I don't endorse that kind of language. I'm here to talk about the group, the Council of Conservative Citizens, and what association it might have had.
Then, Mr. Taylor, why did it sit on your website for so many years?
That goes back many, many years. What is important to talk about under these circumstances today is how do we prevent the repetition of a terrible crime of this kind. By the way, the council absolutely unequivocally condemns what Roof did.
The fact that that was on your website for several years, shouldn't you have some formal apology on the website now for anybody who read that?
There is absolutely no proof that Roof read that, which was appeared long ago. That's buried deep in the bowels of the website. There's no proof that he saw that at all. That's not a sentiment that I at all endorse.
And your group has not been grandstanding in how it's handled Dylann Roof and what he's done to that community in Charleston, South Carolina?
Grandstanding? Heavens. What we provided on the webpage, what the council provided, are facts that are difficult to find but true. Do you want us to lie about those facts and say that they're not true? Do you want us to say that they don't matter? Do you want us to ignore the truth?
No, what we're saying is that what matters, Mr. Taylor, is where somebody who is mentally ill, who's racist like Mr. Roof, where do they get their ideas? His stepmother called it internet evil, and what we're all trying to do, and I'm surprised that you're not trying to do this as well, is try to take some responsibility for the stuff that is spewing over the internet, that is getting into the minds of the mentally ill and causing them, in part, to do this.
Sir, if you take a strong position on global warming, for example, and you find out that someone who holds exactly the same views as you has gone into the Exxon Mobil building and shut up management, does that mean that your views were wrong? Does that mean you say suddenly, gee, I was wrong all along? No.
But the fact of the matter is that if somebody heard me say something, no, you asked me a question and I'm going to answer it.
Are you going to let me finish or not?
I'm not, because you asked me a question and I'm going to answer it. If somebody came to this broadcast and because of something that we said on this broadcast, they went in and they shot up somebody from the Exxon or whoever, we would do a lot of soul searching on this broadcast and this channel to try to understand what did we do to contribute to this debate. And what I hear from you is no responsibility whatsoever to what your organization might have contributed to this madman and the violence that he perpetrated in Charleston, South Carolina.
Absolutely none. What Dylann Roof said about the council's website was only one thing. That's where he discovered the reality of interracial crime. That is the one thing. If what you put on a broadcast and somebody shot up somebody, if it were absolutely verifiable truth, I don't think you'd be apologizing.